Hello and welcome back to Boring Dad Gaming, where today we're going to be playing some more Citizen Sleeper. Let's just get our save game going here. Okay, so we've got 3 dice to play with today. We've got 1 cycle left till someone's going to come hunting us, which is not great. What do we want to do? Sidereal Horizon. You know, I'm actually not going to do anything else on here. Oops. Concentrate on other stuff. Oh, Ankita's ready to talk to us. Ankita is crouched in the computing core of the ambergris, swearing to herself when you enter. She doesn't look up. These shits completely ruin the core's connectors when they cut it. She holds up a thick fistful of ragged wires. The ship mine they ripped out won't even be usable without replacing these. She throws the bundle across the room. Amateurs? Can we repair it? There's nothing to repair. We need an entire ship mine. Not exactly the first thing you can expect to dredge up from a scrap freighter. She sighs. Fragments maybe, sections of a mine, but a complete ship mine? No way. Ankita climbs out of the cooling well where the ship mine should be. The space suddenly crowded, with her on the same level as you, towering over you as she stoops beneath the low, curved ceiling. Come on, nothing to be done here now. She leads you back through the guts of Amber, though you could find the way back yourself. The repair process has left you familiar with the cutter's idiosyncratic layout, all diagonal angles and bundled tubes. What do we do now? Ankita seems lost in thought, and you focus on the corridors, ducking below conduits and passing through bulkheads. Eventually you arrive in the galley, though it's hard to tell. Most of the benches and prep surfaces are covered in half-stripped components and welded hull patches. Ankita shoves a box of filters to the floor and sits. There's no way round it. She starts out of nowhere. We need a new ship mine. Where from? Scrap freighter? Ore exchange? Hell, find one in the overlook bathroom. Doesn't matter where, just matters that we get one. She rubs her forehead. It seems I'm about to do something very stupid, but hey, I came here, didn't I? Why not make a run of it? She fixes you with a hard stare. Sleeper, you're all I've got. No crew, no friends, you're it. She looks uncomfortable. I appreciate the time you put on Amber, and I'm sure she would too, if she could. What I'm saying is, if you screw me on this, I will kill you. She leans over and hands you a stack of chits. A big stack of chits. You don't dare to count them. Get me that ship mine, Sleeper. Don't make me regret this. Oh, you won't. She sighs. Look, just get out of here before I change my mind. You slip out of the galley and head back towards the main lock. As you do, Amber growls and creaks like a caged animal. You reach out a hand to calm her. Time to find Ankita a ship mine, somehow. Okay, well we have this ship here, and she's given us 100 credits, which ain't bad. We could actually buy 2 ship mine fragments. Which I think gives us what we want. Now how do we combine these? Did someone say take them to the Ore exchange? What does it say? The right tools and a few more fragments? How many do you need for a ship mine? I assume we need more parts. Alright, let's go to Dragos' shipyard, because we can keep working on this Winter's Light, because he's starting to run out of nerve on this. Let's do this. Neutral outcome, so we got 1. I'm going to put in another one. Okay, get a positive. Neutral. need some more money, so I should probably do something that will earn me some money. We've still got stuff to do here. Kind of. Well, do we, yeah, I can help him. I want to help him because I didn't really do this last time, so we'll babysit Mina. We got a positive outcome, so that's cool. I don't really have very much money. I wonder if Tala could throw us a shift. Well, yeah, but I'll need... Have I got any data like that? I have actually. Put that in there. So we've got 10 cryo now, so we'll actually be able to, let's go to Memphis and get a meal. Yeah, so if we come out, we should be able to talk to him now. Sleeper. Memphis calls out to you, a booming voice that echoes through the corridor. Tell me a story. He throws a handful of chopped mushrooms onto his wok, the fire leaping up to meet the oil. I see you, cycle in, cycle out, but we never speak. Tell me a story. What kind? Any kind. He pauses to drizzle something from a plastic bottle into the wok. But one of yours. He looks up at you. Nothing stolen. You pause, the spice is rich in your nostrils, and think about the kind of story you'd like to tell Memphis. You look at Memphis, the listener, and imagine he has heard it all before. Perhaps he would enjoy a strange story, something with some spice. Now tell me about our dreams. All the sleepers, you tell Memphis, had dreams. Some were simple, memories left over from the emulation process that had become tangled up in their minds, and would come out when they slept. It wasn't rare to hear a sleeper in the dorm scream or cry out in the night. But your dreams, those grey skeletal afterimages of systems and structures, of threads and patterns, weren't like the others. They weren't memories or nightmares, they were reflections of reality. Distorted, yes, but somehow true. You learned back then to keep quiet about them, to let them flow through your mind like water. That was until now, until you arrived in this place. Now your dreams colonize your waking life. They slip behind your eyelids with every blink. And now you understand that they aren't dreams at all, or some process of interfacing, of speaking, of living in another world that flows through this one like smoke through the air. You tell him that you do not know if there is a reason for your dreams. Perhaps, you reason, it is just some side effect or particular quality of the frame you inhabit. But whatever it is a gift, and you hope to make use of it. Memphis finishes cooking and squints a little at you. Sleeper, he smiles. You are quite the storyteller. He eyes you and you realize that he is trying to gauge how honest you have been in your story. Memphis passes you the meal he has cooked, and you take it gratefully. As you eat, he talks, a natural exchange. Thank you, Sleeper. He looks around at the emptying market. But my time is done for today, and I do not want to keep you longer, so I will make a proposal. He gestures to the plastic boxes of ingredients stacked behind his stall. These are good enough for most, but someone told me a story that made me think a couple of cycles ago. They said that across the gap, in the Greenway, fresh mushrooms grow. Have you heard this? No? Neither had I, but I trust the one who told me. Memphis begins packing up his things. Can you bring me some? I cannot cross the gap, and I worry about leaving my things behind. He smiles. I'm sure a storyteller like you could handle the trip. I will prepare them for you, and, if you wish to tell it, be the audience for another story. Agreed. Good. booms Emphas. Then I will wait for you to bring them. Emphas slides his wok away and straightens up. I will prepare a recipe then, Sleeper. Good luck with your foraging. You turn away and walk back into the main market, the rich taste of Emphas's food still lingering in your mouth. Stories for food, you think? A trade that seems more than fair. Okay, so we're fed at least, so that's good. Let's go and rest up, and we're going to use the stabilizer, so we'll input that. Right, so we should get all our dice tomorrow, which is cool. And the cycle. Yeah, pretty good numbers. 2 6s, 2 4s, and a 1. Not bad at all. However, the hunter is here. Ethan, cynical bounty hunter. Hold it there, Sleeper, comes a voice from behind you. Don't you run. Stay still. Good, good. A hand pats your coat down. You know your master's voice. Ethan spins you around. He's wearing a wide smirk and a slick jacket, and you immediately know he is terrible news. You got all the way out here and then stayed put? He laughs a cruel laugh. That a sleeper thing? You're my first. You barely hear him. You've noticed the handgun he has leveled at your chest, and it's hard to take your eyes off it. He reaches down with his other hand and slips some kind of ring out from a belt loop without taking his eyes off you. Making it to the eye, though, that's pretty good. This place isn't so bad. Bars, markets, people. I pull most of my contracts out of asteroid caves or off of godforsaken moons. He splits the ring into 2 perfect circles. It's hard to hit civilization when there's so much space to pass through. Who are you? Just a freelancer on a contract. He reaches over to slide the rings around your wrists. Go easy. Make a break for it. You see a chance the moment his eyes leave you to watch the rings. You spin, knocking him away and sprinting down the corridor. Oof. Then the shot rings out, echoing off the metal so loud it hurts your ears. A bullet hole smokes in the wall beside your head. You freeze and Ethan closes the gap. This is a very boring routine. Trust me, I've seen it all before. He slips the rings over your trembling wrists. Ethan nudges you to start walking. To the ship and home, he whistles. Going easy. You stumble down the corridor, your hands behind you, your mind racing. We can work this out. Can we? I don't see much in the way of assets in your possession. Ethan yawns and continues to nudge you down the corridor. Shame to come all the way out here just to head back to S&Op right away. That tracker of yours makes this too quick. Was hoping you'd put up a bit more of a chase, you know? A running battle through the broad market, maybe, or a holdout in the low end. There's a few establishments I would have enjoyed checking out while I asked around. You walk on in silence for a little longer, desperately trying to think of a way to escape. That S&R tracker will be the death of you. Hey, I have an idea. Ethan interrupts your thoughts. How about on the way back to the ship we stop for a drink? I'm buying. He laughs at his own joke. I have a better idea. It's better not be one of those where you do a dramatic pause and then try to jump me, because I'm pretty tired of that. Although, muses Ethan, I've got myself thinking, what's the rush here? Here we are in one of the most lawless joints in the surrogate systems, and we are heading for the exit. He pauses and you trudge on in silence. Okay, here's the idea, starts Ethan. You and me, we make a little agreement. Here are the terms. He turns you to face him. You run or leave or try to abandon the eye, I shoot you. You plot or scheme, you try to kill me, I shoot you. But, he smiles, you come meet me at an establishment of my choice every few cycles and you pay my tab, I don't shoot you. He pauses. You don't pay my tab? He rattles his shotgun. You get the idea. I get it. Okay then, that sounds to me like a deal. He stretches. You know, I really thought I was gonna have to kill you, but this is so much better. He clicks something in his belt and the rings release from your wrists. I'm gonna see if I can find my old stool at the compressor club. Come see me there. He aims the handgun at you, squinting down the sight. Let me just remind you that a body of yours is one big tracker, so don't even think about leaving the eye. I'll know. Ethan turns and strides off down the corridor, slipping his handgun away. The mix of relief and terror you feel is overwhelming. What are you gonna do? Well, new drive. I bet we have. Get away as far as we can. Let's head into the network, because we want to try and get a Havenage cipher somehow. I don't have a 2 or a 3. It's likewise. Yeah, it's a Yatagan agent. Keynode, Yatagan. That's it. Well, I mean, I guess I'll use that now. May as well. Can always sell the data. We could check out the free spoke. We could scale it or enter it. That's dangerous. We have a 6. Try 4 on the risky one. Positive. Okay, well we've nearly sorted this out. Have we got anywhere to get to? We've got the PAS import-export, and we have a midline freight hub. What's this? We could steal a shipment. Freight operator. That's for money. This is for random items. Oh, I'm going to try stealing. I think we might get a ship mind. That's my hope. Random items. +1 to security. What did I get? Maybe Havenage data? Quite what I wanted. Right, let's try freight operator. 16 Fry. We've got a bit of money. Used up my dice already. It goes quick. What have we got at the PAS import? Sell ship mind. Export Matsutake. That's the type of mushroom you can get. Buy ship mind core for 300. Wow. Expensive. Yeah. Well, I don't know why these are locked still. Are we trying to find our place around here? I guess we are. Oh, he's at the compressor club. How much does he want? I don't think we're going to know, but we've got 4 cycles till he wants money off us. Ambergris wants a ship mind core. I think we'll probably just have to go and rest. That should be okay. Okay, very mixed. Well, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yeah, pretty mixed. I think we do this, and I think we try and get this Havenage cipher. Let's use our 2. How do I turn it into a cipher? Oh, Hunter's back. Those familiar threads wrap around you, bind you, test you. Entity submit. Hunter's strange head bobs in your vision. Your ally in the sealed dock cannot save you. In that globed head you see whirling strings of data, so many spinning there that they threaten to tear through the thin skin and whip out into the void around. What happened to this creature? The threads squeeze and you lose any sympathy you might have had. You must escape. You lash out once more, pushing Hunter back, severing threads that regrow as fast as they are broken. As you slip away, you realise you have to find a way to deal with the Hunter once and for all. This is getting too dangerous. Try another one. Avenage data. Hack a Havenage agent to get a cipher. Hack the shipyard and slot the Rippleworm. How do I get a cipher? Hack a Havenage agent. Well, I've done that though, haven't I? Surely. Ah! We have a Havenage cipher now. When did that arrive? Yeah, let's try doing that now. Put this in. Input the Rippleworm. Do we go and talk to Feng now? Yeah. Okay, it's going to take a few cycles for it to do its work. That's fine. We should try and finish off the low end. We need 4 more. Maybe we can do it. Positive? Okay, so 1 more positive. We'll finish this off. No, neutral. Okay. Got a new drive. What's that? Sure. Derelict unit. Oh yeah, what, maybe it's getting a home. Let's click on it. This half-built unit looks forgotten, a project that never made it. With enough scrap, you might be able to seal it up. Okay, so we need 4 scrap basically, and I think we can turn that into a home. Can I do this with Lemon Mina? Will it do anything? I think whichever we do it'll be positive, but maybe I should instead go and get some Yatagan data. Hey, where did all our condition go? We must have taken a massive hit on that. Maybe it was the encounter with Ethan. Oh well. I don't think there's any point going, and mind you, I suppose the point is that he does fill us up. Alright, let's eat here. Guess we go rest. It's not a great roll. Let's see. We won't be able to do very much with that. I mean, Dagos is we're starting to run out of time on this. 4 cycles left. Alright, let's try one of these. Could do with the positive on this. Negative. God damn it. Damn, there's not a lot I can do with this roll. We got a positive outcome at least. We got some money in. That's good. Okay, we got 1 and a 2. I guess we're still going for this. Go for this data. At least we can sell it. Not much. If we get desperate, we can at least sell that data. Maybe rest again. Only 3 dice, and 2 of them are 2s. This isn't good. We're starving. Should go eat. I think we should try and buy scrap. We might get a ship mine core out of it. There we got scrap. Alright, let's try again. More scrap in our scrap. Alright, let's sell some of this data we found. I'm going to sell all the Atigan data, I think. Let's try scrap one more time. I really would like to get a ship mined out of it. No. Great. Okay. Running out of time for this. I think I'm going to put my 6 in it. Got scrap. I think we can open up that unit now that we can use as home. I don't really want to do that. I'll try and do a bit more of that. We've got 3 cycles left. Oh God, he's going to ask money as well. Alright, let's get this derelict unit going. You tuck the scrap into the shattered interior. It's hard to imagine this place as a home, but it can't be worse than a container. With all the materials, the unit now needs sealing section by section to be usable. It's a laborious task, but with the outcome it's worth it. Oh, this is going to take ages. Not with my two. Maybe I sell my Havenage data as well. I need food. At least I can buy food now. We might be able to get some more data as well. Twos. Okay, so we can eat at least. Let's get some rations. And let's get some food from Memphis as well. At least we're full of food now. I think we rest a day. Better rolls at least. Whew. Okay, well Feng will talk to us now. As you arrive, Feng comes striding towards you, taking you by surprise. Let's go, Sleeper. He puts a hand on your shoulder and turns you back the way you came. Go where? To see Hardin Hurst. He gives you a sideways glance. Isn't that what you're here for? He steps into the passageway, guiding you down ring towards the shipyard. Sorry for the hurry, but we have something of an opportunity. The data you ripped, well done by the way, he grins, tells me Hardin is making a rare inspection of the sidereal horizon this cycle. It's the perfect chance to confront him outside of that compound he hides in. Feng takes a sharp turn onto a dimly lit side passage. Confront him? That's right, it's the perfect time. Feng slows and chips and slips into a dark service tunnel where, somewhere in the black, a water pipe drips. It's him, Sleeper, the same Hardin Hurst. Our worm ripped out decades of records that mentioned him name by name, an entire trail of documentation from the first days of the Solheim collapse until now. He rode out the whole thing. Slipped into Havenage when it first broke off from the Union. He paces in the tunnel, a hand rubbing at the back of his head. I need you to understand something about Solheim, Sleeper. I don't know what you know about the collapse, but it wasn't as instant as it sounds. It wasn't like Solheim was here, running the station one day, and the next Erlin's Union took power. Back then, Solheim knew this place was slipping away from them. As the palladium market collapsed, they tried to keep the contractors here working. The pay got smaller, the costs higher. People like my parents were forced to work non-stop just to keep a berth on the station and water in their tanks. Solheim squeezed every last worker until the mistakes, the accidents were coming in non-stop. And as new waves of contractors came in desperate to work, Solheim welcomed them, taking bribes instead of checking pilot licenses. The whole time Solheim was folding up, dragged into court cases in the central systems, while this severed limb of a station still desperately tried to take all it could. The riots came after the collision at Dock 2. A young pilot, his MEV overloaded with palladium, miscalculated his trajectory and took out a section of the ring. Hundreds died, thousands panicked. My parents told me people were terrified, and the blame fell squarely on Solheim. People like to tell stories about Erlin, how he brought the factions together, spoke to the crowds, turfed out Solheim. Maybe that's true, but my mother, pregnant with me, locked herself in their MEV and welded it to the dock while my father joined the improvised crews trying to seal up the ragged edges of the gap. He never came back. Feng pauses in the dark. They sealed it up though, and by the time they did, Solheim was gone, abandoning every one of us to the black. Apart? Feng finally turns back to you now, his eyes burning. From shits like Hardin. Shits who held their place, rode it out, and slipped into the new structure like nothing had changed. Standing shoulder to shoulder with those they'd exploited at every step. Feng starts walking again. That's why I can't just let him strut about the shipyard. This time, his past catches up with him. How is he still alive? Clearly you don't know much about executives. That kind of power comes with certain benefits. Feng rejoins the passageway, which is now wide and glass-roofed. Through the ceiling you can see ships in mid-construction, their flanks lit by the flashes of plasma torches. The entrance to the shipyard is ahead. Let's go. Feng grins. Let's go show this shithead some consequences. He strides to the shipyard entrance and pushes through the doors. A web of corridors lead through the complex, snatches of the construction bays always appearing through windows. Ships are suspended like whale corpses, skeletal, imposing. Feng seems to know exactly where he is going, and before long you cross into a huge dry dock, locked to one side of the sidereal horizon. A network of platforms and scaffolding cling to the ship's hull, filled with workers and equipment. The sound is stretched out by the vast space so that the welding, cutting and sealing seems to come from everywhere at once. Both you and Feng spot them at the same time, a group walking slowly across a gantry, and at the front, two men, one gesturing towards the ship, and the other, stick-thin, cleanly dressed with a shock of grey hair. Hardin. You and Feng say his name in unison, and Feng sets off up the staircase to the gantry, with you following behind. As you come to the same level, the group is passing closer, the foreman gesturing to the work being done throughout the dock, and Hardin nodding along. Hardin-Hurst! Feng shouts across the noise, taking you by surprise. His voice bounces and comes back in a rippling echo. The figures turn.
Yes?
Hardin asks quizzically, raising an eyebrow. He glances between you and Feng, and you see his gaze linger on your body, unsure of why a sleeper might be in this place. You were a traitor, Hardin. A Solheim executive who tried to hide here among its victims. Feng's voice is steady, strong. You stand for everything the Eye was rebuilt in the shadow of, against everything Erlin stood for, everything Havenage stands for. You have no place on this station. For a moment, stillness descends on the group, as if everyone was held in place by the rattle of construction. Hardin laughs.
Well, good to meet you too.
He glances around at those around him. Some are smiling, others nervous.
You are from the systems branch, are you not?
Asks Hardin, inspecting Feng's clothing. Feng turns to the foreman. You need to call your security. This man is a corporate agent. The foreman glances between Feng and Hardin, his hands drumming at his sides. Hardin leans towards him and says something inaudible. The foreman nods. It's true. This man has no dick. As you begin speaking, Hardin turns his attention to you.
And what would a sleeper know about that? You accuse me of being a corporate agent? What are you, if not exactly that?
He looks around at the group, who are already eyeing you with suspicion.
You are a product of S&R, and you have no place in a Havenage shipyard. Who knows what signals you are sending back to your makers?
A murmur of approval runs through the group. Feng holds up a stick of memory. You guessed right, I am systems, and I have records that link you directly to Solheim, right here. He turns to the foreman again. So once again, I am asking you to take this man into the custody of the shipyard. The foreman remains still. Hardin's voice is calm, measured.
If you have such data, why hasn't it been submitted at a members' meeting for proper review?
He shakes his head.
I have nothing to hide, unlike a man who does not announce his name, who enters my shipyard with corporate property in tow, and tries to turn my own men against me.
You hear it now, the echoing sound of boots on walkways, coming from all angles at once and then settling behind you.
Please, says Hardin, submit the data through the correct channels, then we can talk. For now, however, you must leave.
He gestures behind you to the security detail, their hands on boxy black sidearms at their sides. Feng spits. Harden, you shithead! You can't wriggle out of this one! A security officer draws their weapon and levels it. Feng turns and stares him down. Let's try and calm him. You look at Feng. He shakes his head and puts a hand on your shoulder. Let's go, says Feng, and he pushes through security, heading back down the walkway. Once security has walked you out of the shipyard and nudged you back into the corridor, Feng picks up pace. You try to keep up as he slips into the shadows of an entrance. Feng is grinning ear to ear. You know, Sleeper, sometimes people are exactly how you expect them to be. Something pings in his pocket and he takes it out. On the slate, a web of connections starts drawing itself out, stretching to a set of points around the ring. Got him, mutters Feng. What's going on? Harden is doing what any sneaky shithead always does, calling his friends. We're tracking his outgoing messages. Feng's grin looks ghostly in the uplight of his screen. The old ways are best. Spook them good enough and they'll give the game away. He jabs at the slate and you see the web is being drawn over a map of the ring, lines bouncing from point to point. All these dots? These are Harden's buddies, the ones he's messaging right now, and we're going to find them all. That was on purpose? Of course. Harden isn't working alone. We need the full set or nothing. Feng glances around and slips the slate back into his pocket. We better split for now, Sleeper, but this is exactly what we need. Good hunting. With a pat on your shoulder, Feng drifts away, back into the flow of people around the shipyard entrance. You watch him go, unsure whether to be angry or impressed. Oh, we got an upgrade point. Alright, well, let's take a look at the upgrades. I think I might do an endure because we get it. I don't like having all the -1 modifiers. At least we don't have a -1 on anything now. Oops. Right, we've got some good dice. I think I want to use it. I don't want this to run out, so I might even use 2 of them on this. Let's try and finish this winter light thing. Then we have a sip. Let's keep that. Let's use my 5. Did get a couple of scrap items actually. But let's come out of here. Squeezed into the office at the entrance to the yard, you lay out everything you have on the winter light across the metal desk. Your makeshift forensic notes glow on Dragus's old writing slate, overlapping lines and scrawled annotations. A set of drone scans fills the terminal with a spectrum of colours, a heat map of damage and decay. A crumpled printout from the office's ship registry lies beside them. Synthetic paper so thin it is almost transparent. Look at the monitor. Reactor failure. That is the verdict that anyone would have returned after a cursory glance at these stacked heat maps of the remains of the winter light. On the terminal screen, the ship is shown in section, blotches of colour marking the approximate damage the ship sustained. Dominating the view is a single, blood-red rose radiating from the ship's fraction drive. A simple story. A catastrophic failure of the drive core, leading to a fatal hull breach. A well-documented failure, likely brought on by wear or misuse. But you aren't looking at the rose of the reactor. You are looking at a smaller, paler mark, one that might be easy to miss at first glance. It is thumbprint-sized and delicately placed over the control servos for the ship's main external airlock. It suggests a controlled, shaped explosion, one designed to punch through the hull and allow access to the airlock from the outside. You're looking at it because it is troubling you. Look at the slate. Your attempts at a reconstruction of the Winterlight before its fatal accident consists of a series of overlapping sketches and diagrams showing possible layouts and configurations of the gutted cutter. This was no off-the-shelf model. It was heavily modified, parts replaced with inventive configurations, the new retrofitted into the old, handmade joints and reconditioned filters. This was someone's pride and joy, a lifetime project kept running with care and intuition. It also contained a set of hidden compartments. You missed them at first, where the hull had been thickened, the corners rounded to disguise the change, but they are there. Look at the printout. A plain list shows the registration history of the Winterlight, the gaps between the entries tantalizingly opaque. Its first registration was a couple of thousand cycles ago on this very station, logged at the central hub. From here, the registry tells the story of a busy ship, one that rarely stayed on station for more than a few cycles, and often took on voyages that kept it away from the eye for up to 100 cycles. The Winter Light got little rest. An old ship, many cycles under its belt, carefully maintained. A reactor failure preceded by a carefully concealed external entry. A suite of hidden compartments tucked away. This was the Winter Light, and this was its story. But that's not the full story, because there's something else. It is little more than a list, a tiny chunk of data you were able to pull from the ship's systems. The main systems were fried, of course, but the Winter Light had a separate system, one tucked away in one of its hidden compartments, armoured, air-walled. This list, the only recoverable piece from the whole system, is a partial inventory. It details the contents of the hidden compartments. Some of it you recognise, some of it you don't. Ship-mined ROMs, shimmer, cryo-chain codes, and then the final entry, passenger, sleeper. You stare at the list on the terminal and try not to think about what it was like arriving here, in the cold for so long, half frozen in the freight container. Had this sleeper been smarter, luckier? How had they convinced the Winterlight, a smuggler ship if you ever saw one, to extract them from SNR? Luckier. You laugh. There had been no remains found in any of the Winterlight's compartments. You had checked. They weren't so lucky, you guess. Not in the end. You hold a vial of stabilizer to the light. This was all you find in their compartment. A parting gift from SNR. Well, it won't go to waste now. You put it back in your pocket. The thought still bothers you, though. 2 ships carrying sleepers coming into the same yard. 2, one after the other. That feels wrong. You flick back and forth between datasets on the terminal, thinking, and you see that thumbprint again, the mark of someone trying to get in. Someone who entered the Winterlight with precision and speed, and when they were done, left the reactor to clean up the rest. The thought of that person makes you shiver. Suddenly the office door creaks open. Dragos stands in the doorway, staring at the equipment and notes you have assembled.
What is all this?
He snatches the slate from the desk faster than you realized he could move.
You running an investigation here? What am I paying you for?
The drone on his shoulder starts whining shrilly, his anger passing to it through his implants. Where is this ship from?
Leave this alone.
He starts shaking his head.
I know you have a lot of questions, but this isn't the way.
He turns away, muttering to himself.
This is the last thing I need.
This ship had a sleeper on it. Dragos freezes, suddenly angry.
What did you say?
He pushes past you to look at the terminal, at the list. He shakes his head.
So what? Aren't all of you trying to escape? You're lucky it was you that made it out alive, not them.
He folds his arms indignantly. Dragos seems to steady himself and then turns back to you, the heat map of the reactor failure reflected in his headset's glassy eyes.
I've given you a place to stay. I've given you work.
He stumbles over the words, unsure what to say.
There's plenty others who would have sold you on, turned you in, but not me, no.
I appreciate that, but
don't.
He shakes his head.
I'm not discussing my business with you.
He quiets the drone.
I've done well by you and you've returned the favor.
He straightens up and clears his throat.
But this obsession you have with this ship isn't going to work for me. I can't have you making my clients nervous. I can't have you digging up whatever it is you're after.
He sighs.
You can't work here anymore.
What about the Winter Light? He reaches over and switches the monitor off.
Forget about the damn ship. You have enough to keep you up.
Dragos reaches across you and flicks off the terminal. As the light of the monitor dies, a kind of eerie calm falls on you both. Whatever it was, whatever this was, it is done.
You made it out, Sleeper. That means you have to move on.
Someone killed that ship and its crew.
And you want to meet them?
He shakes his head.
We're done here.
In the dark, Dragos' headset glints, and you wish for a moment that you could see his eyes and meet them. Maybe then he would understand. You get up from the desk and Dragos gathers the notes, stuffing them into a pocket of his overalls. He holds the door for you, his headset as expressionless as always.
You can stay in the container. I won't take that from you. Don't come back.
His tone is final, definite, with an edge of disappointment. You walk out of the office and then out of the yard, not stopping to look back. You leave the yard, thumbing the vial in your pocket, knowing that this at least guarantees you a little more time. And as you walk, your mind once again drifts to that person who killed the Winterlight, and whether or not that person will come for you. Oh, another upgrade point. Let's have a quick look. We could give ourselves another +1 modifier and stuff. Oh, there's this one. Agent nodes give double data rewards. That costs 2 though, so we should try and get one of these going. I think I'm going to give them most... There's quite a lot of endure and engineer actions, but it's going to take 2 points to kind of get them to a +1 state. Oh, let's just do this, just get the endure going. Oops. Okay, well I want to do Lemon Mina as well because, as I said, I mean you can kind of see how you get distracted in other directions, but I want to help these guys. Yeah, so we helped him to halfway now. Plus a bit of energy. That wasn't bad. And we're going to go home and we're going to use that other stabilizer we've got now, which came in very nicely, so we can get back a couple of dice. I should go and see how much this guy wants. 58. Can I sell my scrap somewhere? Yeah, how much do I get for scrap? 12. Okay, I'll do another one. Oops. Alright, let's pay off Ethan's bar tab. Maniac.
I can't believe he just did that.
Ethan's mocking laugh comes from along the bar. You look over to see him leaning across it in a pool of light, empty glasses and spilled drinks glinting around him. It's always dark in the compressor, but this cycle the place is packed, a load of spacers mixing with the locals.
Usually they run.
Ethan spins a glass on the bar.
Or they go spend their savings on some local heavy I have to put down. They don't pay.
I'm done.
Wrong. Not even close.
Ethan gets to his feet. The glass falls and smashes, but he doesn't seem to notice.
You think that's it? One round of drinks and we are even? Sleeper, come on.
His hand comes to rest on the butt of his handgun, dangling from a chest holster. What's wrong with you? Ethan laughs hard and the people around him turn to see what's happening.
You think this is on me? I think someone in your position might have a better idea of how this all works. I'm a freelancer, Sleeper, just like you. We both signed a contract with S&R, didn't we? The difference is, my word means something.
He closes the gap, stumbling a little.
What did you think? You could just run away from your contract, your debt? You could just steal that natty little body of yours and take it for a joyride? Play human for a cycle or two?
I'm nothing like you.
That's what I'm saying.
Ethan is addressing the bar now, having noticed the attention from the other patrons.
You are a coward. I'm a professional. Though I should thank you.
Ethan nods, his head heavy.
For giving me such an easy job. I'm used to outlaws, you know, real bounties. If I knew catching sad little escapees like you was so easy, I would have changed clients ages ago.
Someone shouts from the back of the bar for Ethan to shut up. He holds up a finger in that general direction without turning around. Shoot me or let me leave?
Oh, I see. Toughening up here.
He gestures wildly at the crowd.
Thumbs up or thumbs down, folks?
Most turn back to their drinks, no longer interested in this tired show. Ethan mutters insults as he walks back towards the bar. Ethan sits heavily back down on his stool and searches through his glasses for one with something left in it.
The thing is, Sleeper, I can find you anywhere. It's actually wild that you haven't figured it out. That body isn't yours, and it will always betray you, no matter what.
He finds a glass and downs the contents.
So please go. I'll catch up with you whenever I need another.
He laughs and taps the bar for a fresh drink. Look at yourself.
Give it up, sleeper. I'm done teaching you for today.
He settles his head on the bar and closes his eyes.
I'm sick of you. Go find a job.
You turn on your heel and are out of the cloying dark and the sweet stench of the compressor. You walk hard and fast down the walkway, anger driving your footfalls into the metal of the rim like hammers.
Ethan.
Oh, we've got another upgrade point though. Hey, we're getting through these drives now. I kind of want to get the Endure +1 because that will help us get our house sorted out. If we go and have a look. The derelict unit, we now got a +1 on these seal unit attempts. 1, 2, 3, 4. So if potentially 4 of those, we could get a nice little house for ourselves and move out the metal container that we're living in. But I think we end this cycle now. I also feel quite a bit better when the conditions top and the energy's topped up a bit as well. And you can see we've got this perk Sunbathe now, so we can spend a dice to recover some energy. Although money and dice are both on a bit of a premium at the moment. Ooh, some nice rolls. 4, 4, 5, 5, 6. Pretty good. But I think we'll leave it there for today, so we'll spend those dice when we come back the next time. So thanks very much for watching this episode of Citizen Sleeper. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, then please hit the thumbs up button on the video. Subscribe to the channel as well if you've not done so. That would be amazing. And I'll hope to see you again next time. Bye for now.